NFL 2025 international schedule: London, Dublin, Madrid, and Berlin games, confirmed as Minnesota Vikings make history. Few had heard of Fanuel Koech prior to the Wanda Diamond League meeting in Paris 2 months ago. But the Kenyan teenager, in what was just the second 1500m race of his career, catapulted himself into the sports consciousness by finishing second in a highly competitive field, breaking the world U20 record with 3 minutes and 27.72 seconds. But it wasn't in just the U20 ranks where Koech left an imprint on the history books. His time also propelled him to 9th on the senior world all-time list, bumping Olympic bronze medalist Yared Nuguse out of the top 10. 1 month later in London, in Koech's next Diamond League appearance, he won in 3 minutes and 28.82 seconds and beat world champion Josh Kerr, among others. When asked which performance he values most, the world U20 record or a Diamond League victory, he said the latter. "I am looking ahead. I am no longer focusing on the U20 category," he said. "While I value the world record I ran in Paris, which will stay in the history books as a great moment in my career, beating Josh Kerr at the London Diamond League was a greater moment for me, as it shows the potential I have and that I am now able to compete against senior athletes." In between his races in Paris and London, Koech also won at the Continental Tour Gold meeting in Ostrava, clocking 3 minutes and 29.05 seconds. He now owns 3 of the 4 fastest 1500m times by an U20 athlete, but he insists he has never focused on chasing specific times or records. His goal for London, in fact, was to win, as he'd been told it would act as his trials for the World Championships in Tokyo. His Paris outing, meanwhile, was more about gaining valuable experience. "Running my first Diamond League race in Paris, I had no experience, but believed I had the potential," said the 18-year-old. "I wanted to see what would happen if I reached the 300m mark with the leading contenders. The World Championships will be another new experience for me, but I believe I have the potential to earn a medal. I know the kind of experienced runners I'll be competing with there, like Kerr and Cole Hocker, the Olympic champion. But I don't feel intimidated in any way, as I know the training I've done and the advice I've received will be enough to achieve good results in Tokyo. I'll just take it one round at a time." Koech was born 16 kilometers from Eldoret City in Naiburi before moving to Koech. His father passed away before he was born, so he and his 9 siblings were raised by their mother. No one else in his family is a runner. "One of my brothers is a pastor, another a driver, another a teacher, and the other a mechanic," says Koech. Koech was inspired to take up athletics by the alumni of his school, St. Francis Kimuran High. World record holder David Rudisha and 2021 Olympic champion Emmanuel Koech were both former pupils at that school. "Their pictures are on the walls there, and we were encouraged to follow in their footsteps," said Koech, who started out in the 800m. "After high school, I joined a training camp in Iton and then moved to my current camp here in Kapsabet, where I've been focusing on the 1500m. He now trains alongside the likes of Olympic 800m champion Emmanuel Wanyonyi and Diamond League 1500m champion Nelly Chepchirchir, both of whom will be joining Koech at the World Championships in Tokyo as part of the Kenyan team. His training partners have already had a positive influence on Koech's development. "When you are with people who have great ambitions to achieve," says Koech, "you get the same fighting spirit." Just a year ago, few outside the athletics community knew the name Emmanuel Koech. He was one of many talented long-distance runners, training in the highlands of Kenya, logging endless kilometers under the rising sun, fueled by dreams and determination. He was fast, yes. Promising, sure. But in a country where excellence in distance running is almost routine, standing out takes something extraordinary. And then he did stand out. At a Diamond League meet in Europe, with no hype, no fanfare, and no big-name sponsorships, Koech surged ahead of a world-class field in the final 400 meters and didn't look back. He didn't just win, he announced himself. A breakthrough performance. A time that put his name on the international radar. From obscurity to Olympic contender in one unforgettable race. Now, as the Tokyo Games loom, Koech is not just showing up, he's aiming to make an impact. And he's carrying a nation's quiet belief on his shoulders. underscore 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 underscore. The breakthrough that changed everything. It was in Oslo, on a cool evening, when everything changed. Koech lined up in lane 4, tucked into a field of seasoned pros, some Olympians, some world champions. He wasn't the favorite. He wasn't even a mention in the pre-race predictions. But when the gun went off, he ran with purpose. Not recklessness. Not fear. Just a controlled fire. With 2 laps to go in the 5,000 meters, he was sitting in 6th. With 1 lap to go, he was 3rd. With 200 meters left, he was flying. When he crossed the finish line, arms raised, eyes wide, it wasn't just a personal best. It was a career shift. Underscore 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 underscore. A star is softly born. The media started calling. Agents, too. Coaches asked to see training logs. Suddenly, Emmanuel Koech wasn't just another name on the start list. He was a threat. But if the world was surprised, Koech wasn't. "I've known I had this in me," he said afterward. "I just needed the world to see it." Quiet confidence. That's Koech's calling card. He doesn't boast. He doesn't shout. He works. He trains in the hills of Iden, where the air is thin and the expectations are high. Where morning runs start before the sun, and recovery is just as important as effort. He's been shaped by that culture, not just of greatness, but of grit. And now, with his passport stamped and his name on entry lists, his eyes are set on Tokyo. Underscore 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 underscore. Tokyo dreams. "I'm not going just to participate," Koech said, eyes steady. "I'm going to compete." For some athletes, qualifying for the Olympics is the goal, the finish line, the dream realized. For Koech, it's the starting point. He knows the competition will be fierce. Athletes from Uganda, Ethiopia, and his own country will push the pace, chase records, and run with tactical brilliance. But he also knows what brought him here: his kick, his patience, and his hunger. In Tokyo, he doesn't need the spotlight. He just needs the right moment. If it comes, he's ready. Underscore 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 underscore. A different kind of pressure. Representing Kenya in long distance running isn't like representing most other countries. The pressure is heavier. The history is deeper. You walk into a stadium already compared to legends. But Koech carries that pressure lightly. Not because it doesn't exist, but because he's learned to respect, not fear it. I look up to Kipchoge, to Bekele, to those who came before. But I am not trying to be them. I am trying to be me. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, and share. Underscore 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 underscore.